today's Gospel, we read about Jesus washing the feet of his disciples, and there's a couple of interesting points to note here. First of all, we read about the fact that Jesus lays down his garment before he washes their feet. This is a very powerful and symbolic act, which is a metaphor for what is about to happen on the cross. That garment is symbolic of his earthly life, which is also about to be laid down in this brutal, humiliating and barbaric death on the cross, out of love for each and every one of us. The next thing is that when he comes to Peter, Peter wants to actually wash Jesus' feet. He doesn't want to have Jesus wash his feet. Now, it's very interesting because Christ responds to him by saying, look, if you're going to be my disciple, then this is how it's got to be. This is a powerful reminder that if we're going to call ourselves disciples of Christ, we are not the ones who set the terms. Christ is the one who sets the terms of discipleship. He is the one who sets the boundaries, and we are the ones who are called to conform to those. We don't get to tell Christ how it is. We are the ones who are called to submit. And lastly, there is this great act of humility we see in Christ washing the feet of his disciples. And it might not sort of resonate with us as much today because our modern Western culture is very different. But in the time of Christ, it was not the host who washed the feet of his disciples. It was supposed to be done by the household slave. And here is Christ, not just showing that he is going to be a servant. He is actually showing that he is willing to lower himself to the level of a slave. This is a profound act of humility. It is a profound act of love. And it is a profound act of humility and love that every single one of us is called to imitate in the world and the culture around us. We are meant to go out like Christ and make ourselves humble, make ourselves a servant to others out of love. Today's Saint quote of the day comes from St. Augustine, and he said this: "It was pride that changed angels into devils. It is humility that makes men as angels." One of the central themes of this Holy Week and Christ's death on the cross is humility. And today we see that on display in the Gospels. Christ makes himself like the household slave. That is the model of humility that we are all called to imitate. And when we live out that humility, we are doing something that makes us great. When we act with pride, we are actually lowering ourselves. When we act with humility, we are acting as Christ has shown and taught us and lived and role modeled out already for us.